Hey third grade, it's Mrs. Wade here to teach you your math lesson for today. So today we're going to look on how with fractions you can find part of a set. So I want you to think of this. Imagine you have a dozen eggs. You have an egg carton. A dozen is 12 eggs, as a reminder. You have 12 eggs in your egg carton. So a dozen. So then what we're going to try to figure out, what's half of 12? Well, it's nicely how they put the egg carton. There's a row of 6 and a row of 6. So we know that half of 12 is 6. But sometimes we might say, what's a fourth of 12? What's a third of 12? And I'm going to show you how we go about that today. So let me share my screen, and we're going to find part of a set. That is your lesson today. If you want to follow along, your book has some things in it on page 396. Otherwise, follow along with me here on the Smartboard lesson. Okay, so finding part of a set for fractions. So I want you to imagine, here's another problem. There are 24 students in Mrs. Hall's 5th grade class. If 1/4 of these students have blonde hair, how many students do not have blonde hair? You could use objects for this. So if you had a ton of Legos, maybe you take 24 Legos and you spread it out into 4 groups because they're saying it's in 4 parts. So, but there could be an easier way to do this, is if I were to take 24 divided by 4, I'd see how much was in each fourth of that. Now, there are some different ways we can go about that. So if I go 6, 6, 6, and 6, because 6 times 4 is 24, I know that a fourth is 6 students. So we could say 6 of the students have blonde hair, but that leaves 18 other students who do not have blonde hair. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can do this with other problems. So if you, give me 1 second, trying to get my thing to work up here. If you were to go ahead here, how can you determine the portion without using like objects or sorting and such? So sometimes sorting is super helpful, but this might help us. So your example would be a fourth of 24, just like they were saying. We're going to go on, and what I want you to do, when a group is divided into parts, you can use multiplication and division to determine the number of each fractional piece. So each piece of the pie type of thing. So a fourth, so first what I would do is 1/4 times 24, which comes out to the same thing as 1/4 times 24 over 1, because 24 over 1 just means 24. So that is the same thing as 24 divided by 4, what I just did, which gives you a total of 6. So if you go ahead and kind of think of it that way, it could really help you in solving it. So then we know that there are 6 in each group. And then we can go from there and kind of figure out the fraction. Okay, let's go on, and we're going to try this out with a few things. So if I find a third of 12 apples, so let's solve it just like they were showing us. 1/3. So first I'm going to multiply this by 12 so I can figure out what is in each third of it. If I do it times 12, which 12 over 1 is the same thing as 12. So that comes to 12 equals 12 over 3, which is the same thing as 12 divided by 3, which gives me 4. So I can say a third of 12 apples is 4 apples. Okay, let's try another one, and let's try these out, because this is what your homework's going to be today. Let me clear my screen there. Okay, so a 1/6 of 12 pencils. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my fraction. I'm going to times it by 12. Okay. And then that equals 12 over 6, which is the same thing as 12 divided by 6. So I can look here, I could write it out again just to make sure it's nice and organized for me. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So we would say 1/6 of 12 pencils equals 2 pencils. Okay, we're going to try a few more of these just to get the hang of it. Okay, so you could do this with anything. You guys could try this home. Rather than sometimes going ahead and just arranging the objects, you can always do that. Hands-on is super helpful. So if you have Legos or something, many items of one item, you could try this out at home. If you have 27 basketballs, I'd be really surprised, but maybe you have like 27 Legos or 27 of something else you could try this with. So let's try out this one. So you have a third of 27 basketballs. So I'm going to go a third times 27 equals 27 over 3, which is the same thing as 27 divided by 3. Okay, everybody know what that is? You count by 3s, you get 9. So a third of 27 basketballs is 9 basketballs. That's how you would go about this. Okay, I think we have one more. Okay, here's one, hearts. Half of 14 hearts. Now sometimes when they do half, it's a little easier because we know what half of 14 is. But I want you to, I'm going to solve this, continue solving how as I have. 1 over 2 half of 14 hearts, a little messy, sorry, equals 14 over 2, which is the same thing as 14 divided by 2, which gives me 7. So half of 14 hearts is 7. Okay, so that's how we're going to go ahead and find part of a set. So let's get started on our homework today. Your homework is on workbook page 149, so pull out your workbook and maybe pause this so you can maybe work on a few of those problems with me. Okay, let's pull this up. So in this, you're just going to solve it on this page. I would suggest writing it down on this page, and then you can input it into the Google Forms to turn in your homework. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to do a few of these. So if you look at, we're going to do just a few of them. Okay, so you need to find the part of a set. So here they even give you a picture to kind of help you see. A fourth of 8. Okay, here's 4 different groups. How many are in each group? Well, all you'd say is there are 2. A fourth of 8 is 2, which makes sense because 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, so try that with number 2. Now, when you get to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, they're trying to show you how they're walking you through it. So they're saying half of 6 is the same thing as 6 divided by 2. So when you write this answer for your for number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just write it once. You don't need to write it twice. So over here, half of 6 or 6 divided by 2 would be 3. Okay, so over here for number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you just need to give me one answer in the Google form. Then you go ahead and come on down here to 9, 10, 11, 12, and all the rest of these and try them out. So half of 8 equals, I'm going to do 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. And then just go ahead and take those steps that I taught you with the Smartboard lesson I had up just a little bit ago to show you how to go ahead and go about this. Okay? Okay, 3rd grade, that's all you need to work on for today. And then Thursday, we'll have a math live lesson. As we finish off this school year, you guys have been doing so great. I hope you have a wonderful day. Miss you. Bye.